Skyblock, a game that emerged from being a single-player experience on a small island all the way to being an MMORPG. But if we take a look at Hypixel's interpretation of Skyblock, we can see many differences to normal Skyblock. In this video of the series, we'll be taking a look at the Slayers of Hypixel Skyblock. What are Slayers? No, it's not this one or this one, more like this. So let's just jump right into it. October 10th, 2019, the date where Slayers were released. On this day, only the original 3 Slayers were released: Rev, Tarantula and Sven. But they were far from perfect, so in the next few days there were 3 changes, changing a lot of small things about them. And also some more changes. So let's take a look at the Slayers released. Number 1. Revenant. The wiki defines them as follows. Revenant horrors are Slayer bosses that will be spawned after the required combat experience is acquired during a Slayer zombie quest. Defeating a Revenant horror is the only way to obtain zombie Slayer XP. Revenant horrors have unique abilities that they use during battle. Most of this can be applied to the other Slayers too. So basically, if you kill enough zombies, this thing will spawn, and if you kill this thing, you will get loot, Slayer XP, but also starting at custom coins. The best job for zombie slayers were scythe blades, because you could use them to craft the Reaper scythe or maybe the talisman. Okay, the next one released were tarantulas. The tarantula slayer was never really good, and it also wasn't never really reworked or changed or anything special with it, so it's kind of useless, except it can give you a nice decent amount of Skyblock XP, which is, I mean, the only thing that it really does, which is kind of sad, but I mean, maybe it will get a change. So anyways, Tarantula Slayer is of course a spider, as you can maybe guess, and the jobs are kind of bad. Fly swatters are like 500k. The talisman is pretty good, because talismans are always good, and the mosquito that it drops is, let's call it, not a meter anymore. One other thing besides the talisman that did found use is actually the toxic arrow poison, because it's now used for Kudra, so you can kill it faster. Killing the boss is very easy because it only has 2.4 million health, which sounds like a lot, but it deals like 0 damage. It deals 530 damage, and that's like nothing. So yeah, Hypixel team, this really needs a rework. Okay, the next one is Svens, and Svens are actually pretty interesting because they can drop you hamster wheels, which are pretty good for your minions. And of course, it can also drop the overflux capacitor, which you will be using to craft the overflux. It's like a healing orb. If you place it down, it will heal you, of course, and it will also give you more mana regen and some other small stat bonuses, which is really helpful if you're fighting other bosses or mini bosses or maybe even other slayers. And also they have added on April 20th, 2022 Furballs, which I will mention now and not later because it won't fit in later. And yeah, Furball just gives you a nice amount of attack speed, strength and crit damage, so pretty good if you're using Juju in the beginning. And yeah, this Slayer was pretty good even on release, and the overflux capacitor is about 100 mil. So going forward, in March 12th, 2021, the Revenant Tier 5 was released. Alongside of it was maybe the best helmet in Hypixel Skyblock and the really OP eggs. So Revenants weren't that good on release, but now with the Tier 5, you can actually get it Warden hard, which is just absolutely OP. So the Warden Heart that Slayer drops has a drop chance of 0.01%, and it's worth about 200 million coins. But if you craft that thing into the helmet using revived hearts and enchanted iron blocks, it will just cut your speed in half, which is kind of bad, but it will give you such a massive damage boost that sometimes it's just the best helmet for your specific use right there. So if you just need to get as much damage as you can, this thing is the way to go. Maybe don't use it in dungeons, that would be kind of weird. And also Smite 7 was added. But the other OP thing was the Axe of the Shredded, also called AOTS, which is a throwing axe that deals 250% more damage to zombies, which is pretty OP. But it also has the ability, if you right click it, it will throw the axe and it will deal 10% of its melee damage, which sounds bad. But consecutive throws stack 2 times damage, but also 2 times mana, up to 16 times. So this is just OP. Yeah, so it basically makes your melee hits ranged, and it deals even more damage. And you can also use it to kind of sword swap, but it's not the OG sword swapping that can get a video on itself. But it's like if you right click the X and at the time where it hits the enemy, if you maybe take out like your giant sword, it will deal the damage of the giant sword, which is just absolutely insane. So it can be used for some niche uses, and it was also very OP for dragons, but I haven't really seen it be used for dragons anymore, but at the time that was really, really cool. May 31st, 2021, the date the game would change forever. The Enderman Slayer was added. It was the hardest thing to kill in the game, with having 300 million health and dealing 21k damage per second, which is just absolutely insane. And the reason is very simple. Short bows were added, so saying that means the Juju and also the Terminator, which are just so incredibly OP. So the Juju was actually only at E-Man level 3, but they changed it to E-Man level 7, like a year later. And the Terminator is and was unlocked at E-Man 7. So, and that is just OP because those bows are maybe the best thing that you can use in dungeons. And actually, you could also use them without the Enderman Slayer requirement, because if you dungeonize them back in the day, it will just bypass the E-Man Slayer requirement and just use the dungeon requirement, which was a bug, but then got fixed kind of soonish. So yeah, Terminator is like the best weapon in the game for DPS, and you just need to have it for Master Mode. And the Juju is like the small version of it, technically speaking, but they're both very good bows. E-Man Slayer also added AOTV, the best mobility item, Gloomlock Grimoire, the best healing item, and also the Gyro, which is like maybe the best utility item, or maybe it's Ice Spray. So this one and Ice Spray together are really, really nice, so you would actually want them. And yeah, E-Man Slayer is pretty profitable. Judgment Core is like nearly 400 million at the time of checking, a bit under. So yeah, pretty solid to say the least. The next Slayer in the list is literally made from flames because it's none other than the Blaze Slayer. March 21st, 2022, Blaze Slayer was added. It is the Slayer of the Crimson Isles, and it's kind of different from the others because it has phases where it can like split itself, and you also need to use the daggers with 4 different attributes in total, attunements in total. So those are used to switch between them, because otherwise you can't hit the Slayer boss, which is kind of unique, I guess. And also it drops a few different things instead of like one big drop. It has more than that are all worth a bit, so it's like more consistent money than like boom, you're getting 300 mil at once. So yes, that's pretty different and also pretty nice. I think that's a very cool Slayer. At max level it has 150 million HP, and it deals 100 plus 20 to 50% max HP as damage, and it also deals a bunch of true damage. So if you are getting totally destroyed by this, maybe put on a Sorrow chestplate should be helping you, but don't like go ahead and replace all of your armor with Sorrow, because then you deal like 0 damage. And the Blaze Slayer also unlocks a bunch of endgame stuff, but most of them are also coming from the minions, so I won't cover them right now. In conclusion, it's a rather unique Slayer compared to the others, so tell me in the comments down below what you think. And the last Slayer on the list is the Vampire Slayer, which actually got added pretty recently. I mean, if we're talking in Skyblock terms, it was added on June 20th, 2023, alongside with the Rift update. So yeah, it's kind of different because in the Rift everything is just like completely different. So be prepared for that. The Vampire Slayer is also the last bit of progression in the Rift right now, because the last stage hasn't been released yet at the time of making this video. I have to say that. And it has a bunch of different phases, which is, I mean, the tier 5 is kind of annoying, so people don't really do it, because tier 4s are way faster, easier, much less annoying, and also they give more in total, because tier 4s give 120 Slayer XP, and tier 5s give 150, so that's 30 XP difference, but tier 5s are way more annoying, so like nobody is doing them, and the only drop that you can get only from them is the one book bundle. So I mean, if you need that, maybe you have to do it. So yeah, the thing that you can unlock from this is armor, weapons, and candy. Yeah, candy. Even candy, because we're in the Rift. Of course it's candy. Why shouldn't it be? And like a melon or a karambit, which is pretty cool. And it deals 1 heart per damage and has 2400 HP at tier 4. And tier 5 is even more, but you should maybe only do it once for the Skyblock XP or unlocking it. So yeah, the Vampire Slayer fits really well, to be honest, into the Rift, and I also kind of like it. So you should do it if you're doing the Rift. And also, as always, Skyblock XP. So yeah. In conclusion, the Slayers of Hypixel Skyblock are very versatile and well thought through. Yeah. Some may love them and some may hate them, but I made a whole essay about them. So if you've enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, because I didn't even really know if I should upload this video, because I thought it's maybe gonna be a bit cringe or bad, because I've never done a video like this, to be honest. So please let me know in the comments down below, and I will catch you in the next time. Thanks so much for watching, and bye guys!